myself. Welcome back to...
There you are.
Hashtag just saying. I don't know why I said it like that.
I said it like that.
Okay. Whew.
Different.
Yeah, we had major technical difficulties just prior, so hopefully everything's out of the way.
Hopefully.
Poor Bumbleline. Just looking at us like we're idiots.
Sticking his tongue out at us.
Yeah. Blip. Ugh. So, another week. Oh boy. This one was a barn burner. It was a barn burner of a week. Oh my gosh. So, I managed to get, well, I say but it was Nikki.
Okay.
Nikki who managed to get the DVD, my new DVD thing set up. So
Nice.
she spent most of Sunday morning. I think it took about 2.5 hours to do.
That's probably why I haven't got my shelf up yet. It takes too damn long.
It took quite a while. I mean, like, she showed up and I'm like, okay, so what do you need from me? And she's like, stay out of the way. I said, perfect. I'm good at that. I will stay out of the way.
Go over there and supervise.
Yeah. So I went out of the way. And she got that all done, and we unloaded the DVDs, and then I moved Jay's bookcase into his office so he can utilize that. And the old bookcase is probably going to go in the basement I was thinking, like, maybe, I think it's going in the basement. For, like, podcast stuff, we can put, like, some trinkets, and, no, Bumbleline stays here. But, you know, some...
Odds and ends.
Yeah, little trinkets, little whatnots down there.
Knickknacks.
Knickknacks, a knick-knack shelf. Knick-knack paddywhack. So, I say that a lot. But, I gotta pop this, I'm sorry.
Yeah, that's fine.
I didn't
do it
have...
all the time.
I know, but I don't want it in people's ear. There we go. I tried to do it as gently as I could. Don't at me. Thank you, everybody, for watching last week's episode where I drink.
Oh, yeah. Maybe that's why I got so many views. I think you gotta do that more often.
I told, at Sunday family dinner, I told people, and I think they were purposely going to search out the podcast just so they could watch me drink. Which I think is funny, because it's like, I don't act any differently. If anything, I'm louder, if that's at all possible.
I think you should do it again.
So picture the volume at 10. It does make my my face red, though. I don't like when it does that.
Yeah.
So, I got into a little internet kerfuffle.
Ooh, did you?
This week.
With what? Oh, who? When? Where?
With a famous person.
Ooh.
It's not even really... I don't want to misrepresent. Because this is a... It's not a friend of mine, but it's an internet friend of mine. His name is Gary Goldman. He's a comedian. If anybody's ever seen The Joker, he was in The Joker. And he was on a podcast. And the podcast...
Wasn't this one?
It wasn't this one, no. The basis of the podcast is Billy Joel.
Nice.
Which, I mean, I guess
Billy.
if you're going to have a subject, might as well be Billy. Billy! So... He said, I'm on this Billy Joel podcast, and he said a lot of people are, you know, surprised I like Billy Joel. I'm like, why are they surprised? Billy Joel's awesome.
Yeah.
And he says something like, he tweeted out something along the lines of like, I put my knowledge, Billy Joel knowledge to the test, or something like that. So I sent him a tweet and I said, let's see if you can out Joel me. Because I want to know what you know, right? So I started listening to the podcast. And I was like, I mean, first of all, there was, oh, shit, hang on. Because, you know.
Good, already.
Yep. Oh, because the antivirus thing came up. Yeah. I can't catch a break. Seriously. All right.
Seems like every other Friday or something. It's just worse than the previous one.
Well, and you know what's messed up is when we ultimately go to the new studio, we won't be recording on this anymore. It'll be a different thing, so we may have a whole new set of problems. But okay, hang on one second. Okay, so it's recording. Trust me. I mean, I can zoom in if you need me to. Cause yeah, hang on. There we go. There we go. Now you can see it betterer.
Yeah.
Oh, that's 2 problems. I don't want any more problems.
EKG's moving.
The EKG, I know. It's moving slow because we're zoomed out a little bit. So I was listening to the thing, and one of the things that they started talking about this song, Goodnight Saigon, which is a song about the Vietnam War. And
good morning, Vietnam.
No, good night, Vietnam. So they started talking about that, and somehow, I think it was because they recorded it on Bruce Springsteen's birthday. They somehow started talking about Bruce Springsteen. And they were like, which is what you want to do in the middle of a Billy Joel podcast, is talk about Bruce Springsteen.
I just heard his voice on the way here.
Did you really?
I listened to the song We Are the World.
Oh, okay, yeah.
So it sounds like
Billy's in that too.
Yeah.
Next to Cyndi Lauper.
Yep.
Mm-hmm.
But it sounds like Springsteen is he's sitting on the crapper or something. The way he sings in that song.
Bruce Springsteen, yeah, I mean, he just has that, like, yeah. I mean, I don't understand. I've never, and he has a couple of good songs. I do like Hungry Heart. That's a good song. And a couple other ones. But, I mean, I'm not, like, a huge Bruce Springsteen fan. And I have the hardest time sometimes figuring out what he's saying. It's like, get the marbles out of your mouth and fucking sing. I mean, sing it or don't, Bruce. I don't know. Like, don't grunt it out.
Stop acting like you're shitting.
I know. But I have that same issue with Bob Dylan. I hate Bob Dylan's voice. But the weird thing is that lyrically, he's a good lyricist. I like when other people sing Bob Dylan. But I don't like Bob Dylan. It's like, I like Highway 61 when somebody else covers it. I don't want to fucking hear Bob Dylan sing, yee. I don't want to hear that shit. I don't like his voice. I know a lot of people like Bob Dylan, obviously, or he wouldn't have been around that long. I don't happen to like him. I don't like his voice. I find that a distractor for me. It's like, I can't connect with you.
Yeah. That part of the song, I think he sings in that, right?
What is that? What?
We Are the World.
Is Bob Dylan in We Are the World? He might be.
Someone's got a scratchboard voice in one part.
There's a few, I think. There's a few. I don't know. I would Google it, but I'm in use. I want to say that Bob Dylan would have been in We Are the World. I mean, he is a very popular artist. I mean,
and that song was in '85, so.
Yeah, I mean, that seems like something that would be up his alley. I don't know. I can't confirm yes or no, but he's still one of those artists that I just can't. Nope. I hear his voice.
Sounds
ugh.
nasally.
Yeah. I mean, it's just like I can't. Like I guess.
Is he the one that sings the song that's on Major League?
I don't know.
I want to know now.
I don't know what song. What song do you mean?
No, tell you in a minute. Hold on.
Excuse me. Okay, but Sean's getting his spectacles. Okay, well while you're doing that,
My eyes on.
put your eyes in. So while you're doing that, I'll continue so that we're not caught up in the same story for an hour and a half. I don't want to have to put a pin in it. So my mom will be mad.
Yeah.
So they started talking about Goodnight Saigon, which led somehow to Bruce Springsteen. And they were sitting there like, oh, well, you know, Bruce. Well, because Bruce Springsteen doesn't. I think they were making the correlation between like Billy Joel can do like a poppy like Uptown Girl, and he can do something like Goodnight Saigon, right? Whereas Bruce Springsteen, they were claiming was more serious. Like he can't do a goofy song. And I'm like, I think Bruce Springsteen could get away with doing that. And then they say, like, Bruce Springsteen couldn't do a Vietnam song because he's never been to Vietnam. And I sat there and I went, wait a minute. I mean, if that's your criteria, Billy Joel never went to Vietnam. So I'm like, I'm sitting there, I'm in my office listening to this by myself, and I'm like, you're already wrong because Billy Joel didn't go to Vietnam.
Too. It's Randy Newman.
Oh, it's Randy Newman. Oh, yeah, he's got another voice. He's got another voice that, you
Drives.
got a friend in me. Yeah, like he has that kind of,
I'm singing with a cold.
yeah, he has a very, he's one of those voices, you always know it's Randy Newman because he can't, and he can only do it in one key. Short people.
One Key Newman.
Yeah, One Key Newman. Yeah. Get out of here, One Key Newman. Punk. So, yeah, I was like, oh, well, you know, he wrote it by talking to people who did go to Vietnam. And then I really wanted to, I wish this had been like a call-in thing or like something I could have tweeted because I was like, okay. Because I also know that song inspired a senator to pass a bill helping Vietnam veterans who were suffering from Agent Orange. So I was like, I know things. So yeah. So I was like, hey. And then at some point, they got things completely crossed because they started talking about the thing he did for an animated movie, and they were like, oh, was it a Rodney Dangerfield thing? I'm like, no, that was Oliver and Company. He did a thing for Disney. Which everybody is like, apparently it's a very popular song. It's called Why Should I Worry? Why Should I Worry? It's a very poppy song. It was written by, I do believe, don't call me on my bullshit, but it was written by Dan Hartman. Anybody who knows who Dan Hartman is, Dan Hartman did a song. Oh, what's that song? I Can Dream About You. I can dream. That's a jam. That song's a jam. I can never turn that song off if that song comes on. I'm like, I don't even care if it's at the end. We're listening to it. Moving. Yes! I'm here. I'm here for you. I'm with you, Dan. I think Dan Hartman wrote it, I do believe.
Dan the man.
Dan the man. Anyway, so I was sitting there like, I have all this shit. So I wrote, I didn't want to be like a dink because, like, they didn't really get too factual about stuff. But I'm like, man, if you're gonna like claim you're a podcast and have all this knowledge and then like not drop any knowledge, like that's weird. So I just tweeted that it was an enjoyable episode, and it was. I did enjoy it because Gary's always funny and he's always a delight. So I said, yeah, Gary's always great, and so they kind of like wrote me back and we had a quick back and forth, and I was going to tweet to them and be like, listen, if you want somebody to come on your show, because I have a lot of useless crap in my head. I was like, we can, like, I almost want to do like a Joel off with them. Like, come on, guys. I think I could take you to school. Ring the bell. School's in session.
Joe would love to be here. Ring that bell. Ring that bell.
Ring the bell. Ding, 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 ding. Yeah. You know what I saw this weekend? This past weekend? No, well, not really.
No?
Oh, hang on. Well, that you reminded me of something else.
Pin it.
Yep, pinning that.
Sorry, Mom.
Yep. So Saturday, I drove all the way to New Hampshire. Well, I'd say all the way. It was like an hour and a half, almost 2 hours. Because it was a truck that Jay wanted to test drive. Right? Now, the truck was a standard, which means shifting. Jay doesn't know how to drive a standard. So I said, okay, well, here's what we're going to do. We're going to go up there. I was like, I will begin the test drive. I will drive it down the street, and you will drive it back. Because I honestly believe it, because he has it built up in his mind that it's this voodoo magical thing that like only people who are touched by God can do. And I'm like, it's so easy. I was like, you'll get it in like 5 minutes. I was like, I guarantee. It's not hard. But we got there. And the truck ended up being like a total piece of shit. Right? It was one of those like dealer things where it was like they show you all like the vehicle at just the right angle so you can't tell it's that shitty.
You're gonna take a picture of the side that doesn't have a dent on it?
Yeah.
Type of thing?
Yeah, let's take it from this view so you can't see the crack in the frame.
Mm-hmm.
So there was that. And I was like, you can test drive this if you want to. I was like, I'll help you test drive it. I was like, but this thing's a piece of shit. I think you'll regret it. I was like, for the amount of money that they're asking for it, no way. No way. So he goes, yeah, I think so. I don't think I like this. But next to it, there was a beautiful red Ford F-150. Mm-hmm. And I was like, you should test drive that one. And he goes, that's a big one. And I said, oh, yeah. So I was like, go get the keys. Go get the keys. I want to try to test drive it. So he's like, okay. So he went and got the keys. And he came back, and the woman had given him the wrong keys, so he had to go back, get the keys. He finally gets the key, starts it up. Whoa, 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 whoa. I was like, ho, ho! The neighbors will love you. Right? I was like, they will hear you coming miles away. So the woman comes back. She's like,
what do you think?
Well, no, it wasn't even like that. I mean, they were so, like, we don't care. Like that kind of deal. So the woman was like, well, we don't have, this particular vehicle, you can't take it on the road. There was something, they didn't have all the paperwork, or it didn't have a sticker, or it didn't have something. So she's like, you can't take it on the road, but you can drive around the parking lot. Now there was an adjacent business, and you kind of go down this hill, and you can go like around this building. So I was like, why don't you take it down the hill, around the building?
Sounds like a go-kart track.
Yeah. I mean, it wasn't. Yeah, I mean, it was kind of like, oh, okay. So you just go around in a circle. So I said, why don't you take it kind of around there, because the dealership parking lot was really tight. So he takes it around, and I'm like, what do you think? And he goes, it's all right. And he goes, it looks better than the other thing. And I said, oh yeah, it does. So he was kind of. So I said, well, why don't you see if, they'll, just because Jay doesn't like to haggle. I really don't either. So he goes, I don't want to argue about the price. So I said, well, all you do is just go in and say, what's the asking price? And, if they tell you like, oh, it's X amount, be like, best you can do. And then if they say, yeah, like end it there. So he goes, okay. So he went in to find out like how much it was and blah blah blah, and instead of the woman, because she had disappeared, there was a guy, and he's like, oh, I don't know if you want that truck. He's like, you need to test drive this truck. So he gave him the keys to a different truck. So
what, do you have sentimental sexual value?
I don't know.
With the other one?
I was like, this is weird that and it was less money than the I found out.
I like to snuggle with the woman in that back.
Yeah.
Check this one out.
It was strange, because I was like, that's weird, because it was less money than the other one he was looking at. So I was like, they're losing money. I don't get it.
They're losing money.
Yeah. So I said, okay.
This is money.
Yeah. Oh, and this is money. So he gives us the keys, so we go out, we turn it on, and I'm sitting there waiting for the AC, and it's hot as blazes. It was like 85 degrees Saturday, right? So I'm like, it's too hot, right? And I'm waiting for the AC to kick in. So the guy, we had the windows down because it was too fucking hot. So the guy came out, and he started to, what do you think? And he's asking, doing his salesman pitch. And then he looks at Jay and he goes, oh, why don't you turn the AC on for the lady? And I said, the AC's on and the lady is still hot. I was like, because the AC is broken. And he looks at me and goes, it's not broken. It needs to warm up. And I went, in what universe does it take 40 minutes for the fucking AC to... Right. What, are the penguins got to run? I was like, what is... Do they have to make the ice? What is wrong with you? Like, I really hate when people, like, try to make excuses. Like, I knew. I was like, listen. I was like, either something's wrong with the thing, with the AC unit itself. I said, or it just needs to be charged. I said, if it just needs to be charged, he should at least be honest and be like, you know what? Needs to be charged up. We can do that for you. Mm-hmm. So we're test driving it now, right? And we get down the street, and I'm still thinking about the AC. I'm like, this is bullshit. So I text Joseph, and I said, Joseph, do you, like, charge up ACs? Because that's something you guys can do. And he goes, yeah. And he's like, what's going on? So, I know. So I explained the situation. He's like, oh, we can do that, no problem.
I'm here late.
So I said, I know, he's here late enough. We're working in those peasy hours. So he's like, yeah, I can do that, no problem. So I told Jay, I was like, I don't...
Work hard for the money.
He is. So I said, don't let the AC be a distractor. Joe said he could help you out with that. I was like, AC aside, what do you think of the truck? He goes, well, I kind of like the truck. And I said, okay. So I said, we pull back into the lot. And I said, go around the circle that we were doing before. So he goes around in the circle. And I asked him...
donuts now?
No, I asked him to stop. So he stops the truck, but kind of out of view. And I said, let it run, just sit here for a minute. And he goes, why? And I said, I want to see if we develop any puddles underneath the vehicle.
Ah, good thinking.
Ba-bam! This is from someone who buys cars. So he's like, all right. So we sat, no puddles. Then he goes, what should we do now? And I said, I don't know, but I'm fucking thirsty. Because I was hot. So he goes, okay.
No AC.
Exactly. So he goes, okay, there's a mobile down the street. Let's drive to the mobile. So we drove to the mobile. Oh, this gets so bad. This gets so bad. So we drive to the mobile. I jump out. I go in. I grab myself a drink. I grab him a drink. I get back to the truck. Everything's fine. We start heading back to the dealership. The check engine light comes on. He went, oh, the check engine light's on. I said, well, what's the code? And he goes, because it said something. It said service something. And I'm like, I've never even heard of that. What is that?
Mine says maintenance required.
Oh,
it's on because I need an oil change.
Ah, yeah. Piss.
Yeah.
Look at him. He's like, ugh. That's the worst because it's like when you go to a dealer or any place for an oil change, it's like you get bumped and it takes them like 3 hours to finally freaking get it done.
Because it's one of those minor things to them. It's not as important.
Right. And they don't make a lot of money off of it.
Commission.
Yeah.
Unlike like a brake work.
Yeah.
Tires, engine itself.
Check engine light. So we get back to the dealership, right? And he's like, oh, thank God we were driving it for as long as we did. Check engine light came on. So we pull into the dealership, and we turn the corner, and they're all standing outside.
How many?
It was about 3 or 4. 3 or 4 of them. And I went, what happened? I was like, were they going to call the police on us? And he goes, I don't know. He said, well, what do we do? So I said, just pull
the truck.
I know. So I said, just pull the truck into the spot. Because they had moved the red truck to the spot that this truck was in. So I was like, why are they playing Yankee Swap with the parking spots? So I said, pull in where the red truck used to be, I guess. So he pulls in. And I said, I was really hot. So I said, I need AC. So I'm going to go in my car and you go talk to the guy. They were all kind of like standing outside looking odd. They just looked so odd. Like we pulled in and it was like, they looked like there was no, like, and I found out why.
Yeah, like a C-3PO look.
Yeah. It was so,
neutral.
Yeah, I know. So I found out why in 10 seconds. Jay comes back. And I said, I know. And I said, what's up? And he goes, well, I gave him the keys. And I said, okay. And I said, well, did you tell him about... He goes, I told him about the check engine light. And I said, okay. I said, well, what's going to happen? And he goes, well, I don't know. Because they close at 4 and it's 10 past. He goes, and so these people were standing outside their work.
Waiting on you guys.
Waiting on us.
Oh.
Because they were closed. They never said we close at 4.
They
So,
should have.
exactly. I guess they figured like, oh, there'll be 5 minutes. No. I mean, you want to test drive something, you want to know it's not going to break down. So, I said, well, what did he say exactly? He said, well, he took the keys and said, email me on Monday. And I was like, you know what? If I was a car salesperson and like you want to sell cars, like that's your thing. Mm-hmm. I was like, even if it was a few minutes past like what I would normally work, I think I would try to follow through with the sale.
Right.
You know? I mean, because this wasn't like, I mean, Jay was going to just like buy a vehicle. Like there wasn't going to be a loan involved. There wasn't going to be any of that paperwork. So it was like, you know, I was like, if he thinks he's going to have a mound of paperwork to process, he's incorrect. So I asked Jay today, just so we could get closure on the situation. I asked Jay today, I said, did you ever email he goes, no. And I said, okay. And he goes, well, and to be, honest, they haven't emailed me. And I said, oh, nasty breakup, huh? Ugh. Dirty breakup. Oh. Oof. I said, well, are you gonna? And he goes, I don't know. Well, I mean, the whole, like, they closed at 4 and were generally like, peace. I think that kind of left him feeling a little bit weird, and the fact that the check engine light came on, even no matter, like, what it was. So he's like, I don't know if I want to part with that kind of money for that kind of vehicle. And I said, that's fine. If you don't think you're going to be happy with it, don't buy it.
Right.
Because that's the worst thing you can do. Is buy it and then be like, this was a mistake. There's a few things with my vehicle I wish I'd thought to look at before I signed the paperwork. Just like weird things that I didn't take into consideration.
Well, you're always caught up in the moment.
Yeah, well, I mean, it was orange.
Some things you don't really think about.
No, I mean, I didn't think, when I bought it, I wasn't sitting there thinking, oh, I bet this will hold all my groceries. Because it doesn't. I have to, like, triple stack groceries when I go to the store.
When I had my Charger,
when
I got it, one thing I forgot to ask was, is it all-wheel drive? No, it's rear-wheel drive, and I found that out one winter.
Rear wheels are bad. Yeah. That's the bad time to figure that out. Mm-hmm. It's in the middle of winter, boy.
I got to ask that.
Yeah.
I still wish I had the car, because a little while after that, from there to now, we've had light winters.
Oh, yeah.
I could have kept the car and still be driving it now.
Well, if you'd kept it, we'd have been swamped. Because that's just how life works. Mm-hmm. I was talking to a friend of mine Wednesday night, and she goes, she was talking about a family situation, and then she goes, well, the shoe dropped. She said, and I'm just waiting on that second fucking shoe to drop because that's my fucking family. And I started laughing, and I'm like, I said, that's a wonderful analogy, waiting on the second shoe. She's like, yep. So I texted her the next day. I'm like, I'm waiting on the second shoe. She's like, always waiting on the second shoe. It's like, another friend of mine is like, get your umbrella ready for the shitstorm. Here comes the shitstorm, yeah. Speaking of shitstorms, let me tell you about the other thing that happened this weekend that I got to witness, and I wish I filmed it. I opted not to for the people involved. So, my oldest nephew got this thing called a death chip. Okay. A death chip. What it is a tortilla chip with like, I don't know, 1,000,000 Scoville count or something. They've done, I think, what have they done? Satan's, I don't know, Satan's ass. They've done some kind of, they've done some kind of Satan thing. And that was a lollipop. That was a lollipop that they got. And he got like, I don't know. You know, what's funny is all these things have like the worst names. It's like the devil's anus. Like, they name these things horrible. It's like, get casket ready. You know? Oh, my goodness. Yeah. So, there was that. And then he did the really, really hot chocolate thing, which he said was really hard to do. They've done the death nut. So, now they have the death chip. I didn't get the Scoville count.
Was that from Satan's front side?
I guess. I didn't get the Scoville count, and it wouldn't matter to me anyway because it's all just numbers to me. But supposedly it's very hot. You can Google it if you wish. It comes in a casket. In a little wooden casket. And you open up the casket, and it's got a little packet with the chip in it, right? So you carefully rip it open, and now it's been sitting in the crumblies and the dust and all that shit. So it's going to be like super, super hot. They pull it out. The chip is black, right? So I'm like, this is just getting better and better. Comes out of a casket. It's black. It's got shit all over it. I was like, and he bought 3. I think he bought 4. I don't know. There was one left, and he had the nerve to look at me. And he goes, you want to try it? I'm like, I have a job. I have to go to work. I can't. I mean, I'm pretty sure that would put me in the hospital.
I was like, to the bathroom, and then you have more stories.
I think I'd be in the hospital. I mean, I don't do spicy. Spicy is not my thing. It never has been. Pepper to me, and like I can't.
Every time I hear pepper, I always think of that movie Short Circuit.
Oh, a pepper too.
When he's reading that sign.
Yeah.
Wouldn't you like to be a pepper too?
It's just I don't like spicy, and these people thrive on it. So, and then he made Nikki, his sister, run to the store and get gallons of milk for the pain that they were going to be in. I was like, all this prep.
Probably watches LA Beast.
He has seen LA Beast. There's a few other. There's a few people that he watches that he's like, you should check out this and this and this. I'm like, I don't want to. I'm getting older. I was like, I don't know if I want to watch people do that to themselves, and they all end up getting sick. So they were doing it. So their brother ended up doing it. So it was my sister's 3. The cream of the crop there. And they were so they were debating on how to do it, like, oh, should we all take a bite at the same time? Should we do it this way? Blah blah blah. And during the debate, Nikki takes the chip, just goes, fuck it, picks it up, takes the biggest bite I've ever seen, drops it and goes, there! And I went, fuck off! I was like, what just happened?
That girl.
What just happened? And so then, of course, the other 2 were like, whoa, 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 no, we gotta do it. My youngest nephew takes a little nibble off the corner, and he was like, huh. Now, the oldest took a medium-sized bite, so he had a little more chip. I mean, Nikki had really not that much left, and he had maybe half, and the other one was just, he had most of it.
Did it affect her at all?
Oh yeah, and that's where we're going with this.
Good.
That's where we're going with this. Like, I really wanted to videotape this, but like I said, for the people involved, these people, they were crying. They were, I mean...
Flame.
Yes,
On the
yes.
side of the face.
My oldest nephew was literally just sitting there. He got a big bowl, put it under his face for all the fluids that were coming out of his face.
Oh, that went down the wrong way.
There is no right way, friend. No right way. So, I mean, it's all just flowing into the bowl. I mean, Nikki had to get like a thing to mop her mouth because it was just all happening. It was all happening, right? And I'm just sitting there like, Jesus Christ. Like, I could have done a live thing. I could have done it live. Exactly. And so we were all kind of sitting there, and I said, are you going to finish the chip? And the oldest looks at me and goes, I got to work. He's like, I don't need to be in a porta potty all day. He's like, no, I have to get up tomorrow. So then there was a little bit of teasing, a little bit of back and forth, a little bit of this. And then Nikki goes, grabs the last of her chip and throws it in her mouth. So then her brother got angry and said, well, now I have to do that. And he's like, work's going to be interesting. And ate the last of the chip. And then they sat there. It was like, what had happened was, you eat the chip, right?
Yep.
And then according to the rules, you're supposed to wait an hour before you drink, before you eat anything. You have to just sit there and be in pain, which is bizarre.
And you gotta have like a 5-minute thing before you can have a drink, right?
Well, no, it's an hour before you can have anything to drink.
Oh.
Yeah, so they were all just sitting there. And it gets to a point where...
Billy Beast did like 5 minutes.
Well, he's a puss. I can't help you if you spit that out everywhere. I have nothing to clean that up with. I should have... when we move studios, I'm going to have a roll of towels. Just in case. But yeah, you're supposed to, according to the challenge, the official... Jeez. You alright? Oh my goodness.
I'm in tears.
He is crying. He's crying. My goodness. See, I should have filmed it. You'd have been crying. They were crying.
I haven't seen it. I already am.
Yeah.
Oh.
Yeah. I came back at the wrong time. Gotta pick it back up. Okay, so what happens is, like, you get to a certain point and it's almost like the pain sort of levels out. So just as their pain was leveling out, they decide they're going to finish the chip. I don't know what's funny about that.
I was replaying when you
Oh.
the plus.
Oh, okay.
Oh.
Well, he is. So, just as their pain leveled out, they brought the pain back. Son of a bitch with this. I can't win today. I cannot win today. Seriously.
Oh.
Sean, you're having a blast. Just a blast.
My tummy hurts.
Good. You deserve it.
Oh.
Anyways. So they end up finishing their chips. All the chips. Well, except for my youngest nephew, who decided he was above all of this. He only had his one bite. And I said, you going to finish that tomorrow? And he went, oh, hell no. But he put it in a plastic baggie. I don't know what happened to it. And I was like, there is no way that I would be able to do that. I would be dead. Like, it would just would have destroyed me. I don't like spicy things, so...
Me either.
No. And I don't understand the whole, like, there's a lot of internet challenges I don't understand, and it's like, oh, punish yourself by eating this. My God. I don't get it. I don't get it. I mean, but I had fun watching them.
I bet.
Then he had,
Especially when Nikki put everybody in their place.
oh, God, she did. She did. She slam dunked. I was like,
Took
jeez.
charge.
She did that Shaq thing where you slam dunk and, like, the whole backboard shatters. And everybody's screwed. Like, it's like, oh, my God.
Meanwhile, the others are like Shaq.
Yeah.
Can't hit a free throw.
Yeah. So,
Oh.
I know it. I know it. My goodness. So the other thing he tried to rope me into this. The Jelly Belly jelly beans. I know, that's fun to say. That is fun to say. Jelly Belly jelly beans. Try to say it like 3 times fast. It's fun. Jelly Belly jelly beans. By the way, I posted a little pic from last week's show on our social media, which is all of the social media. We're on all the sites. You can check it out. But somebody had sent me a message from Stroopwafel because that was the liquor that I drank. And they're like, hey, great. And I'm like, before you praise me, you really should watch the video because I don't know if I did your alcohol justice. But I tried. So.
Do they want to sponsor?
No. It was just like, ooh.
Come on.
I know.
Help us out.
I don't know if I'd be confident or if I'd be happy having that particular booze as a sponsor. I'm not... I mean, it wasn't bad. I think what I should have done was, like, made it cooler, like cold. Like throwing it in the freezer or something for a little bit. I really should have chilled it first, I think. I think it would have gone down a little bit smoother.
It'd be nice if they send you some.
Don't know that I'd be happy if they sent me some. I don't. If they, I was just about to say if they sent me some, I'd give some out as like a prize or something, but that would be very irresponsible. Because it'd be like, oh, are you 21? No. I had something and now I've just completely forgotten it because we had a little giggle thing and then oh, the Jelly Belly jelly bean. So the Jelly Belly jelly bean. And I'm sober. So he had the Jelly Belly has a little game called Bean Boozled, right? I don't know if you've heard of this. Basically all it is like you buy this little box and you spin a wheel and it gives you a color and you pick the color and it will either be a normal flavor like strawberry, peach, or it will be a messed up flavor like dog shit. I think
canned peaches.
one of them is cut grass, which if I'm on
like a skunk.
Which if I'm honest, doesn't taste that bad. The cut grass. I've had the toothpaste one. I got that one. I was hoping it would be because it was like, oh, it'll be like tropical berry or toothpaste. And I got the toothpaste one. The toothpaste one actually wasn't really wasn't horrible. I'm like, they should make this a regular flavor. I'd be all right with this.
Yeah.
Toothpaste. But he got one that was like high powered, like spicy things that had like jalapeno and stuff. And he goes, "You want to play Bean Boozled?" And I was like, "Sure, I'll play." And then he's like, "Oh, it's the hot edition." And I went, "Oh no!" And he's like, "Oh, come on." Like, no. And he said, "I'm gonna try the I don't know what kind of pepper it was. It wasn't jalapeno. It was something else." And he goes, "Well, let me try it and see if it's spicy." And he popped it, and then he's like, "Oh boy." So yeah, I'm not doing that. I have enough problems. I'm not doing that at all.
Sorry, I don't like it. I don't like it at all.
Nope. Not at all. I don't do the spicy. But I tell
You
you,
don't do the spicy butt.
I was just gonna say, but boy, I mean, they were like, I was like, you people, like they were when you have to like hold a bowl under your face to catch all your fluids. That might be something that you shouldn't be doing, maybe.
Makes you think of that scene on an airplane when he's like sweating like hell.
Yes!
Trying to land the plane.
That's kind of how it was. There's like all this stuff coming. I'm like, what the hell? Jeez, guys. So, I'm gonna close out. I'm gonna shut up after I say this, right? So I talked to a friend of mine today, and he went to a wedding in New Hampshire, this past weekend. And I said, "How was your wedding?" And he said, "Great." And then he said, "I stayed at a micro hotel." Have you ever heard of a micro hotel?
No.
I was like, "Is it like the little hotel from Monopoly?"
Well, the micro machine cars that they
Yeah.
used to have in the 80s?
So I said, "Explain to me what a micro hotel is." And I wrote it down because I was like, huh. He goes, "You get less room for less money." So, well, how is that a bargain?
Right.
And he's like, "Well, it's not as expensive as a regular hotel." I said, "Well, yeah, but you got nowhere to go." I was like, "What is it? What is it like? Your bed and your like the toilet's right there? Like
Everything's right there.
Yeah, he's essentially like it's all pretty much like right there."
I'm picturing half this room.
And I was like, "Wow, man! Like I said that sounds like you'd have to like when you walk in the door, you'd have to get on your knees and just like crawl around the room for a little while."
Honey, I'm home.
Yeah. I said, "I've never heard of that before." I said, "That must be perfect if you're short." I stayed at a micro hotel. Oh, that's where the pocket people stay. Have you? Would you ever? Because I have this little thing, right? Oh my goodness! Don't beat up the mic. I have this little thing in my head, right? Would you ever stay at like an Airbnb?
A what?
You don't know what an Airbnb is?
No.
Okay. Well, let me break this down for you real quick. Airbnb is like you download this app on your phone, whatever, and it's basically like if somebody has an extra room in their house or a house they're not using, a summer house, whatever, you rent from them. It's like instead of going through a real estate person or through a travel thing, you just go person to person. Like you just rent from that person. And you can, I guess, make some good money, but the problem is that usually it's the people who rent out the property, they end up regretting it because like party people come in and just completely trash their thing. But I'm a little skeptic about Airbnbs. My nephew planted a seed in my head where I because they can be very economical, like a micro hotel. And but he goes, when we had a conversation, and I said, I don't know, I might, I don't know that I would shut out staying at Airbnb. And he goes, "Don't do it." And I said, "Why not?" And he goes, "They can put cameras wherever they want." And I was like, "Oh, shit." And I was like, "Well, I mean, if they really want to watch me, I mean, like, I don't know that anything exciting is happening, but," and he goes, "But still, they can put cameras wherever they want." And then I said, "Well, hotels could do that too. A hotel could put a camera wherever they want." He's like, "Shit." I mean, I think it would be illegal, but they could do it. I don't know. So that just planted the seed in my head. I'm like, I don't think I could ever stay in an Airbnb now because I'd be like, "Where's the cam?"
I'd be a little concerned too.
I'd be very skeptical. But that's just how I think. Okay, thank you so much for joining us. For the YouTube people, you can listen to the entire show on iTunes, SoundCloud, Stitcher, Google Play, Audible.
Yeah, baby. You hear us?
Spotify. Did I already say Spotify?
Nope. Look for us and spot us.
Anchor.
Don't forget to listen.
Amazon Music.
Smiling? Smile back.
It's just so, it's too much. We're just everywhere. There's probably a bunch of places that I don't even know.
If anybody out there knows, let us know.
If you know, let me know. I found out we were on Amazon Music through Joseph. I think he told me. Anyway, that's it from us. We will see you next time. Sean's got something to tell you. Tell him, Sean.
Hey, have we got everything? Movie quote this time. I'm jumping into the early 2000s now.
No!
Yes.
Oh, no.
Sign your pity on the running kind. What a tie.
What?
What a tie.
I'm going to need to hear that one more time.
What?
The whole thing.
I'm going to sign your pity on the running kind. What a tie.
Okay.
My team.
I'm not sure I even know what that is. All right, if you know, let us know.